This video, which was taken by Lindsay Hill herself the morning after she claimed she was brutally attacked, emotionally traumatized, and desperate to get away from me. And now we have the metadata, so there can be no dispute. It was taken mere minutes before she left my house on the morning of May 16th, 2021.
Welcome to the channel, my lions. Ladies and gentlemen, from your days in kindergarten to when you die, you will meet many people, male and female, who will lie to you for all kind of idiot reasons. Guess what will happen when society or the government decides that one group of people should be believed over another? Before we dive into the case of Trevor Bauer, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, my brethren. You see me?
Former Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer is speaking out after settling a lawsuit with a woman who accused him of sexual assault. Bauer released this video today claiming that he has evidence his accuser set him up and was trying to take his money.
Meet Trevor Bauer. This guy is a former MLB pitcher, Major League Baseball pitcher, who is a millionaire. And this lady right here is Lindsay Hill, the conniving witch that accused this man, this innocent man, of assaulting her for the pum-pum. Now let's hear what Trevor has to say about this foolishness.
Next victim, star pitcher for the Dodgers. A text Lindsay Hill sent to a friend before she ever even met me. "What should I steal?" she asked another, in reference to visiting my house for the first time. The answer? Take his money. So how might that work? "I'm going to his house Wednesday," she said. "I already have my hooks in. You know how I roll." Then, after the first time we met, "Net worth is 51 mil, she said. "Bitch, you better secure the bag," was the response. But how is she going to do that? "Need daddy to choke me out," she said, being an absolute whore to try to get in on his 51 million. Read another
Lord
text.
God.
Then, after the second time we met, former Padres pitcher Jacob Nix told her, "You got to get this bag." "I'll give you 50,000, Lindsay replied. Her AA sponsor asked her at one point, "Do you feel a tiny bit guilty?" "Not really," she replied. Since then, her legal team has approached me multiple times about coming to a financial settlement. But as I have done since day one, I refuse to pay her even a single cent. In August of 2021, Lindsay Hill's claims were heard in court. And during those legal proceedings, critical information was deliberately and unlawfully concealed from me and my legal team. Information like this video, which was taken by Lindsay Hill herself the morning after she claimed she was brutally attacked, emotionally traumatized, and desperate to get away from me. And now we have the metadata, so there can be no dispute. It was taken mere minutes before she left my house on the morning of May 16th, 2021, without my knowledge or consent, of course. In it, you can see her lying in bed next to me while I'm sleeping, smirking at the camera without a care in the world.
Jesus. This right here is a Jezebel, my brethren. Thank God them have smartphone you can use and record conversation and videos. Many men are in prison right this moment due to women like this accusing them without any hard proof. Bonfire upon this believe all woman nonsense. The damn foolishness!
Or any marks on her face. I think it paints a pretty clear picture of what actually happened the evening of May 15th and why the video was originally concealed from us. Yeah. After hearing the evidence available to her, Judge Diana Gold-Saltman found that Lindsay Hill had misled the court. She found her claims to be materially misleading. She denied her request for a domestic violence restraining order, and she found that no sexual assault or non-consensual conduct took place. Now, some of you might not know about restraining order hearings. I know I didn't, but I've since learned that it's extremely rare for a request for a restraining order to be denied because the standard of proof that you need to obtain one is extremely low. So you can make of that what you will. The fact is, I was never arrested. I was never charged with a crime, and I won the only legal proceeding that took place without my side of the story even being heard. And most importantly, as I've said from day one, I never sexually assaulted Lindsay Hill, or anyone else for that matter. So I sued her, which prompted her to countersue me. Quite frankly, regardless of the outcome in court, I've paid significantly more in legal fees than Lindsay Hill could ever pay me in her entire life. And I knew that would be the case going in. But the lawsuit was never about the money for me. It was the only way for me to obtain critical information to clear my name. The discovery process in that lawsuit recently concluded, at which point Lindsay Hill's legal team again came to us with another proposal to resolve the case. This time, however, they weren't seeking any money from me. Having received Much of the information that had been hidden from us, a small portion of which I've referenced here, I was willing to agree to the terms proposed. Both parties would drop their respective lawsuits, and neither of us would pay either side any money. I also retained my right to speak publicly about the case, something I have not been at liberty to do since June of 2021.
This man had his name dragged through the mud, lost his major league job for just an allegation. See, he had his character assassinated in the media by this woman. He couldn't even talk about the case while he was in court. But yet, this woman was able to go all over the different media them, lie and talk whatever she want for chat, and nothing no happen. Trevor, you should have not dropped your charges against this demon Jezebel.
So, as of today, both lawsuits have been settled. Now, over the last 2 years, I've been forced to defend my integrity and my reputation in a very public setting. But hopefully this is the last time I have to do so, as I'd prefer to just remain focused on doing my job, winning baseball games and entertaining fans around the world. So today, I'm happy to be moving on with my life.
Let's hear what the demon woman had to say when confronted with her text messages.
He also released these text messages that came out in court indicating that you had planned the whole thing out. So I want to read some of these texts from you to a friend between the two of you before you met Trevor, this one. Next victim, star pitcher for the Dodgers. Okay. Victim is an interesting choice of words. I'm going to allow you a chance to explain yourself. But after you agreed to meet, you asked your friend what you should steal. Your friend answered his money. He says, another one from you to a friend, I'm going to his house Wednesday. I already have my hooks in. You know how I roll. With a screenshot in which you told him, tryouts don't scare me, Bauer. Pick a day and I am there. Here are some more after you and Trevor met up. Net worth is $51 million, to which your friend responds, bitch, you better secure that bag. Your text, need daddy to choke me out, being an absolute whore to try to get in on his $51 million. You say this wasn't a setup. How can you expect anyone to believe that?
That's a great question. I really appreciate you having me on to even have this conversation. Obviously, there's a lot going on around this, so I really appreciate people who are asking questions about it. The first thing I want to say is, I think that Trevor did this intentionally with the text messages and how he framed this video. There's several things in it that are not correct. And I just want to start out by saying, it's so valid for people to question those text messages. But the root of the problem here is that he is presenting this as one conversation, when in reality, he had thousands of messages to choose from, took those, made it look sequential, which it was not. There is no combined screenshot of those things going on one after the other. And as I said last night as well, there's no text message that ever exists. Otherwise, he would have, put it out there, combining, anything about a setup through rough sex, finances all in one. Those were handpicked, and they were from multiple different conversations all before we met up. And I think that the video in general doesn't even talk about what actually happened between us two, which is what would have come out during a jury trial. These were all messages that happened before. And then of course the video is so valid as well for people to ask questions about. But I do think that video was entirely misleading. He also references the restraining order hearing, which people also have questions about. He says that he was cleared of any wrongdoing, which is actually incorrect. In our civil case, the judge had actually ruled that he had not been cleared of any wrongdoing, and that was a federal court judge.
Information like this video, which was taken by Lindsay Hill herself the morning after she claimed she was brutally attacked, emotionally traumatized, and desperate to get away from me. And now we have the metadata, so there can be no dispute. It was taken mere minutes before she left my house on the morning of May 16th, 2021, without my knowledge or consent, of course. In it, you can see her lying in bed next to me while I'm sleeping, smirking at the camera without a care in the world, or any marks on her face. I think it paints a pretty clear picture of what actually happened the evening of May 15th and why the video was originally concealed from us.
Lindsay, I think there are a lot of sexual assault survivors who would say you don't look traumatized there and you don't look beaten. And this is allegedly after you say that he brutally attacked you and you had bruises all over your body, you had bruises all over your face. I don't see any bruises there, and I certainly don't see a woman who's just been traumatized by something horrible.
Again, super valid. I think that I woke up that morning, and the best way to explain that video is I hadn't seen my entire body yet. I had no idea what had happened, considering, I was unconscious for most of it. I had no idea what had happened to my full body.
But if it was that severe, wouldn't you already feel pain? Wouldn't you already have bruises on your face? I mean, you say that he punched you in the face, but where are the bruises?
Yeah, so that's something that has not, been publicly released, or he won't talk about. But over and over again in this process, we have handed him pictures that were taken between 20 and 30 minutes right after that video was taken, of the bruising starting to develop, of the scratching, and it has been time and time again verified through metadata. It was a matter of being in the correct lighting, the spacing to take the right thing. And another difference is, iPhone camera versus a Snapchat recording that. So there is solid bulletproof evidence of those bruising marks, scratches, things that were provided to their team from day one.
Does this look like a woman who was just assaulted by Trevor? You see that smirk on her face? She's thinking to herself, yay, I just secured the bag. I just secured the bag, man. I'm rich, bitch. I'm gonna call my lawyer.
I want to move on here. So Trevor mentioned in his clip that you withheld evidence, more evidence, and later posted on Twitter after being asked if your lawyers were aware that you withheld evidence. He said, "It appears her lawyers had the evidence the entire time." Speaking specifically about the video of her laying in bed next to me with no marks on her face the morning after she claims I brutally attacked her, an email containing that video was sent to her attorney before the domestic violence restraining order hearing in 2021, and it was never turned over to us. Perhaps that's why he insisted on adding his name to the released parties section in the settlement agreement. There was also a 12-day span of texts between Lindsay and two of her closest friends immediately following the incident that were deleted. We asked for them in discovery for the restraining order hearing, and they were not turned over. Why did your lawyers withhold what seems to be very exculpatory evidence for Trevor?
You know what? That's something my lawyers would have to answer, and that's his issue with them. Like I said, there was an email. I provided absolutely everything I had. And a key fact about this that no one does know about is that that video was actually the first thing that I handed over to Pasadena police, and it's on body cam footage. So I did everything to hand over all of that stuff. It was my first time in a legal proceeding, and I did what I was told when I was told to do it.
This man had to leave the US to go play overseas, and he settled the case. He did not have to pay her a red cent. Hallelujah for that. Somehow, this Jezebel got an insurance company to pay her $300,000.
So my last question, as part of the settlement, you disclosed that you received $300,000 from an insurance company. How did you con an insurance company into paying you any money? And does that money just go to your lawyers, or does any of it go to you?
Yeah, I wish I could speak more into that, but I am prohibited from talking about that part. So I wish I could go more into detail, but I don't believe I would agree with you on the word con at all. So,
Okay.
So I can go into that more.
Yeah, I mean, Lindsay, I don't like it when men are falsely accused of doing things, and they have their livelihoods taken from them, and it's done by someone who is, speaking out of both sides of their mouth, saying, well, I wish that this had gone to court, because if it did, boy, let me tell you all the evidence that you could be seeing, but now you can't, and also then settled the case. I don't find that to be credible. I will leave you with this. I want you to learn your lesson on pursuing public figures, and I would ask that you stop sliding into my friend Alex Stein's DMs.
This woman should have been charged and sent to jail as an example for other lying Jezebels out there. This is the reason why I need absolute proof to believe any woman's accusation. See? Any woman who come out and say a man do her XYZ, she better come out with proof. See? At least in my eyes. Y'all remember when Trevor said this?
Now, over the last 2 years, I've been forced to defend my integrity and my reputation in a very public setting. But hopefully this is the last time I have to do so.
Guess what? Trevor's Me Too encounter did not end right there. See? Trevor's Me Too encounter did not end with Lindsay. I want you to meet Adanna. Check her out on the show called Pop the Balloon.
Well, and then as you were speaking to the other lady, my name's Adanna, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm a provider, so you feel me? Tough.
What
It's
kind
tough.
of provider?
No, it's tough. You popped your balloon. It's tough.
Notice how Adanna is looking for a provider. See? What does this have to do with Trevor? Watch this.
Now let me introduce you to Adanna.
My name's Adanna, by the way.
Your name?
Adanna.
Adanna?
Yeah, that's my name.
Adanna.
Adanna.
Oh, I'm from Adanna.
She was crowned Miss Black Arizona USA in 2016. Now she can be found at Hey Adanna on Instagram and has a YouTube channel. She was also named one of the most eligible bachelorettes in Arizona. So now this beautiful woman meets pitcher Trevor Bauer, who's now $50 million richer, and starts demanding to have sex with him. So obviously this story is a major story. This woman who's accused Trevor Bauer of assault is now charged with defrauding him. Now let's get to the DMs where you're going to see Trevor Bauer's accuser, the one who's now been arrested for fraud. She's going to literally be begging him to have sex with her. In females, for example, hormones present at ovulation can drive a woman to choose a cocky, confident man with a slight stubble and more masculine features. Men can sniff out an ovulating woman just by smelling her t-shirt. Women appear to prefer the smell of a man, dissimilar genes, which could give her a boost up the evolutionary ladder. I guess you smelled cocky and confident with slight stubble. I did make that comment that your shoulders look broad and are strong. My feminine lenses were on. Then she just comes straight out and says it, "Can I sleep with you?"
My lady don't beat round the bush.
She says, "I just want to sleep next to you again. I will be very quiet, promise. And I will sleep through. In the morning, I'll have to leave and will slip out with a blink." She keeps begging, "I'm not certain, but can I sleep over there later? I'm not certain if, but can I sleep there? It's peaceful for me." Now, after they slept together, she asked Trevor Bauer for a sample of his sperm so she can have his baby.
That girl you mad or she smart? Which one you think it is?
At one point, she even requested a sample of my sperm so she could have my child whenever she wanted to in the future.
So Bauer said hell to the nizzo on the sperm donor request. Then this woman, Lindsay Hill, made her false allegations against Bauer. So guess what? Adanna said, "I slept with him too. Let me say he forced me to have an abortion so I can get that money too."
More than a year after the one time we slept together, and only after Lindsay Hill made up her false allegations, Adanna retained a lawyer. She then demanded $3.6 million and claimed I forced her to have an abortion, leaving her emotionally devastated and irretrievably damaged by it. But here's the thing, she never had an abortion because she was never even pregnant, and that's corroborated by her own medical records.
Then Adanna just said, "Hey, let's just stop with it. He assaulted me too."
She made up a bogus sexual assault claim and filed a civil suit against me. In that version of her story, she claimed, for the first time by the way, that there was non-consensual sex, but her texts from the next morning show what actually happened. Remember this text in which she explains why she came on to me?
Now, she did find a law firm who would negotiate whether she could get a settlement or not. How do we know that? Well, here is the email. "Great, I appreciate your time and input today and am glad we can agree to $750K to $3.6 million as a settlement bracket. As explained on the phone, we will start high and understand the lowest you will accept to settle is $750K. Have a beautiful day." And she writes, "I agree, I appreciate, and thank you." But now we had a problem. She was saying she had an abortion, but all the documents and all the medical records said she was never pregnant. Now, because the evidence was so not there, her lawyers had to drop her. Here's the email. Quote, "To confirm without proof of the abortion or even a date of the abortion, we cannot continue to represent you. We urge you to consult with other attorneys who may have different standards." This is the lawyer saying, "You're full of crap. Good luck." So then Adanna found some other lawyers to represent her, but Trevor Bauer had some more ammo. He sent them over an audio recording of her disproving all of her claims. on tape.
And shared an audio recording I have in which Adanna contradicts her own claims and asks me for money.
Now Adanna got some new attorneys. So now with all this evidence, the audio recording, no medical records even show she had an abortion, and on top of that, she was never even pregnant, these last attorneys had to come to Jesus moment and claim that, hey, we gotta drop you because you're full of crap. Quote, "Hi, Adanna. As your legal counsel, we have all agreed that the recording is detrimental to your case, to the point that we are very likely not to be able to continue representation of you on this matter. We are requesting a copy of the recording to verify the authenticity. I know this is difficult news, but without medical records of your abortion and a recording like this is what we feel is insurmountable. Hugs, Amy." Now, since the police department were investigating her claims of sexual assault against Trevor Bauer, they got the same evidence that Trevor showed you. And then things turned really bad for Adanna. She went from victim to suspect, a suspect who's extorting powerful men for money. So the police took their evidence and turned it over to the DA's office, and the DA then indicted Adanna. Here is that indictment. Now, a shocking thing in this indictment is that Trevor Bauer wasn't the only person she was trying to extort. This other guy, Marco Berlusconi. Quote from count 1 of the indictment, "She knowingly did obtain a benefit from Marco Berlusconi and Trevor Anthony Bauer by means of fraudulent pretenses, representations, promises, or material omissions." And it seems like she had it in for our friend Marco here, because the document says in count 2, she knowingly did obtain or sought to obtain property or services from Marco by threat to expose some secret in the future on social media, whether it's true or false. That is what they were saying she was doing to my man Marco.
Yes, you don't have to hear anymore. You know this lady going to jail, and she deserves to be in jail for what she's doing to these men. See? Now, Trevor, I forget on your case. I have to get on your case, Trevor. You need to be more discerning of the type of woman you're going out with. You see me? The type of woman you're laying up with. Trevor, this cannot be no coincidence why them two women try to bleed money from you. See? How comes you're attracting these type of lady in your life? Trevor, you need to assess yourself and say, why this keep happening to me? Why do I choose this type of lady? You know you are a rich guy, so you know the ladies are gonna be coming your way automatically. And you should know some of them are strictly gold diggers. Will do anything for the money. So you can't just allow any woman to come across your way and allow to put your anaconda in any woman. You can't have a situation like this. If you keep doing this, one of these women is surely to get what you want, which is going to be a baby from you, and therefore 18 years of child support, because you know that she want the bag, and that's the fastest way to get the bag right there from a rich man like yourself. So Trevor, you need to assess yourself and start make proper decisions. Start vetting them lady properly, see? Now, my lions, the lesson is that you must protect yourself at all times. You can't trust them modern day women, especially when you have status, money. They will be coming to find that money, and they don't want to do any work to get to that money. They want to do the simplest thing, the easiest thing to get to that money, which of course is to what? Lay up with you, get pregnant. If that not work, charge you with some type of assault. So my brethren, be careful out there. Record everything, get permission, record the permission before you lay up with them woman, because you may be liable to lose everything you have. My brethren, hold tight. Gargamel gone again.